a desire for moving from the troubled waters of anxiety to the deep wells of peace. I'll bet you also want to work for a more peaceful and just world. My hope is that this book will be a place where your most profound sources of anxiety are non-judgmentally named and explained. And you are given a pathway to freedom that empowers you to be a peace-giving, peacemaking person. What is peace? In our work here, we will explore peace through a Christian and biblical point of view. In the lived experience of our ancient forebearers in faith, peace is understood as completeness, soundness, wholeness, contentment, and a prevailing sense of welfare, an interior marked by quiet as opposed to noisy conflict. Peace comes from being in the care of another, as in, "The Lord is my shepherd," Psalm 23:1. Completeness is the positive aspect of peace that heals us from always needing to strive after the one magical thing or person that will finally satisfy us. Soundness is the feature of peace that yields a sense of strength rather than the feeling that our minds and bodies are cracking up or falling apart. Wholeness is felt as a settled ease, harmony, and general well-being. Contentment is a wonderful facet of peace that frees us from the tyranny of disordered desires. Welfare is the feeling of security and happiness. Mental and emotional quiet, as opposed to soul noise, is the gift of peace. As a general introduction, peace describes well-being in the widest sense of the word. Peace refers to health, flourishing, and security. It includes freedom from strife. Peace has to do with salvation, especially as rescue and deliverance. Peace assists right relationships and integrity. It comes from trusting that we are cared for. Peace comes from finding fulfillment or completion of our humanity in Christ, our gifts, and our callings. There are also missional and justice components of peace that express the mission, character, gospel, and purpose of Jesus. The whole Christian mission is a grand peacemaking endeavor. Peace can describe both the content and goal of all Christian preaching, the message itself called the gospel of peace. Peace is deeply personal. It facilitates rest, which results in confidence in and abandonment to God, wherein we cease striving to control outcomes. We can do this when the core outcome of our lives is already determined in Christ. We then have no need to justify ourselves to God or others. Even when struggle is real, there need not be unnecessary struggle in me. With genuine trust in the greatness and goodness of God, we may need to resist others or things, but we don't have to make, through anger and hatred, things come out right. Peace is also relational and communal. The well-being that comes from a right relationship to God creates persons of peace, whose peace then overflows to others. Peace is neither the Stoics' withdrawal from the world nor a pious flight into spirituality and mystical contemplation. It is the joyful assurance of sharing already the peace of God as one goes through life and looks to eternity. Peacefulness refers to qualities of being that are not contentious or quarrelsome, but rather inclined or disposed to avoid strife or dissension. Peacefulness describes persons who are not argumentative or hostile, rather they are positive and calm, serene and undisturbed. Such persons have an inner stillness that is free from impulses to conflict or disorder. As much as we all would like to live with and in these qualities of peace every day, smack in our faces are many reasons to worry. Worry enough, and anxiety sets in. In certain cases, fear kicks in. If the presenting concern is strong enough, it becomes a rationale for all manner of soul and society-destroying attitudes, words, and actions. My passion for peace. Because of the daily barrage of negative, overwhelming, and anxiety-inducing news and social media at this turbulent time, people are desperate for peace and goodwill. The problems and challenges of the world, race, politics, economics, far outstrip our moral, ethical, and relational capabilities to respond. This sense of desperation is at the root of all forms of violence, from war to everyday cutting remarks. Emotional cruelty is readily seen on social media and in the comments section of news articles. In the hostile days in which we live, it is not uncommon to feel like the psalmist.